You're listening to the Showstoppers podcast with Bradley and Alec. Our mission is to talk about baseball and talk about Major League Baseball and cover everything going on in Major League Baseball. If you're a baseball fan, this is the podcast for you. So we have to remove Twitter. Now, on tonight's show, we are going over our top 10 walk-up songs, previewing weekend series, underrated, overrated, one word to describe a player, and much more. We are going to get started first with our top 10. Oh, and just a reminder, all segments are 4 minutes in length. So we are going to start with our top 10 walk-up songs. And these are present day guys that are playing right now. And we're going to alternate 10 through 1. And Bradley, you have the option of going first and telling everybody your number 10.
Number 10. Let me see. I got that all. I got my notes. That was something I did not forgot to print out. I had it written down, but forgot to print it out. All right, let's see here. Oh, there it is. Good songs for baseball. Let's see. This is current day, or do we just we pick the song, bud, or the song? Okay.
Current day.
How about Believer by Imagine Dragons? Be number 10.
And who I did it based on, I looked up every team, and what I did is I put the person's name, the team they're on, and their walk-up song. Did you do the same thing?
I did not. Hang on a minute, bud. So So you want to do this by team, or you want to do it by, right?
By player and what team they're on, and your walk-up song. Like my number 10 is Cameron Meisner of the Rays. Should Have Been a Cowboy by Toby Keith.
Okay.
And the reason I picked that is it's a classic country song, and I feel like it fits Cameron Meisner to a T.
Okay. That's cool.
Who's your number 10?
See, I'm looking at all these things, but all these players are all not playing anymore.
I mean, yours can be. I'll do current day. You can do old players.
Okay. Let's do that. Okay, so my number 10 would be Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix, and that was Mike Piazza's walk-up song. So we could do that one as number 10. My number 10.
Okay, my number 9 is Tigers' Kerry Carpenter with North Point Worship, which is, we don't usually talk about worship songs on here, but he worship holds a special spot in my heart. Who is your number 9?
Number 9 would be well, I didn't know they used this one. Careless Whisper by George Michael, Zach Greinke. Gotta love that. Gotta love George Michael. Gotta love Michael. So
yes.
Yeah.
My number 8 is, of course, a Cincinnati Red. Jake Fraley. Set in Stone by Travis Tritt. Don't ask me the artist. I have never heard of him before I looked up the Jake Fraley's walk-up song today.
Mm-hmm.
So, who is your number 8?
Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. That was Chase Utley's walk-up song.
Okay. Number 7 for me is Griffin Jackson, the Twins. And yes, I have two twins back to back on this list. His was X Gone, Give It by DMX. Which
Okay.
I feel like that fits into a T kind of.
Well,
Because
if you know that,
these
have you
relievers
ever
come in, huh?
but have you ever seen the movie Deadpool? They play it towards the end of that movie. So for anyone
Mhm.
out there that needs that song is, but yeah.
Who is your number 7?
Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and that was Anthony Rizzo, which I think he's a current player. I think Anthony Rizzo.
He is, but he's a free agent. Nobody signed him yet,
Okay.
which is disappointing.
Yes.
Number 6, Trevor Larnach of the Twins. And his walk-up song is It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube.
Okay. Okay.
An oldie but a goodie. Who is your number 6?
This is The Man by Aloe Black, if I'm pronouncing that artist correctly.
Yes.
This was the one of Troy Tulowitzki and David Ortiz, which is one of my favorite Red Sox. So I'll go with that.
My number 5 is Ben Brown of the Cubs, Meant to Live by Switchfoot. Again, some of these artists till today I've never heard of them. And I listen to a lot of music, so if you want to judge me in the comments, go right ahead.
No one.
I'm here for the judgment.
I mean, that's BS. If someone judges you for what music you listen to, that's what makes music so, and that's what makes sports so much fun. If we all cheer for the same team, we'll be. So, my number 5 would be Your Love by The Outfield, and that was David Wright and Charlie Blackmon's walk-up song.
Oh, a Hall of Famer and Charlie Blackmon. I don't know MLB, but I don't know about MLB Hall of Fame. Rockies Hall of Fame. Yes.
Rocky.
Yeah. My number 4 is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Drip Too Hard by various artists. And yes, there is different versions of different artists that do the song Drip Too Hard. So, who is your number 4?
The song is called Panda by Slinger, I think. And that was Alex Rodriguez and Lorenzo Keen's walk-up music.
My number 3 is Kodai Senga of the Mets with the walk-up song Ghost Fork by... I'm not going to even try to pronounce the artist.
Okay.
But obviously that we know Ghost Fork is one of Kodai Senga's pitches. So I guess to an extent that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your number 3?
My number 3 is Blessings by Big Sean featuring Drake, and that was Robinson Cano and Jose Reyes's walk-up song.
My number 2 is Josh Hader of the Astros, Fireman by Lil Wayne. Chill song, but I don't know if it fits a guy like Josh Hader.
My number 2, buddy, is Circle of Life. Now, we all know that song is from The Lion King, but that's not who sings this. It's Carmen Truly Libo M. I'm not sure who that is, and that was Juan Cespedes' walk-up music. So, there's that one, and then
My number 1, he's the thumbnail of the video, Tyler Soderstrom, Rocketeer by Far East Movement.
Yeah.
Great song. I listened to it for a little bit earlier today.
And my number one, it's got to be Enter Sandman. I mean, come on now.
Yes. Yes.
Very honorable. And one of the, and I know we're not talking about college football right now, but one of the coolest things and aspects in college football with Virginia Tech with Enter Sandman. So we could talk about that later on down the year, but that was my number one, is Enter Sandman by Metallica. So.
Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do a segment called Rapid Fire. And we have four different topics that we're going to talk about in Rapid Fire. And we have 4 minutes to talk about each topic. And the first topic is who is going to trade for Sandy Alcantara first? And my co-host can start the timer now. I'm going to name off four. We can alternate. I'm going to name 4 teams. You name 4 teams. And then we're going to decide who is going to get first dibs at trying to make a trade package for one Sandy Alcantara. So my 4 teams are the Mets, the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays. Who are your 4 teams?
I'm going to go.
And wait. And I'll throw a dark horse in there. And it's probably unlikely to happen, but what about maybe the Rays as a dark horse?
You could throw them in there. Yeah.
Deep dark horse. Like just to screw with the Yankees. And raise the asking price.
Yeah.
Because we know how deep the Rays farm system is. It's
correct.
Absurdly deep. So, who are your 4 teams for?
I had the Cubs, Dodgers, which I know they don't need another pitcher.
Actually, they might, because Glasnow's on the injured list. Kershaw's still on the injured list.
And then
Snell's on the injured list.
The other 2 were the Padres and the Orioles. Were my other 2.
Okay, so listing them 4 to 1, least likely to most likely. And who was your dark horse to get Sandy?
Dark horse would be the Atlanta Braves in the division, which that would hurt the Marlins.
Yeah, but the Mets have some good prospects.
Yeah.
So listing 4 to 1, from 4 to 1, what order do you put those teams in?
4 to 1, buddy. I would put Pirates at 4. I did say that. No, I said Braves. Braves were my dark horse, right? Remember who?
You said your dark horse was
the Braves, the Atlanta Braves. So it was
then we go up 4.
Dodgers, Cubs, Orioles, and Padres, right? That's what. Okay, so Padres at 4. Dodgers at 3.
Orioles
at 2, and I'm gonna say Cubs at 1. That would be my order.
Okay, so my order 4 is the Blue Jays, even though I don't know if they could pull it off because their farm system is just horrendous. They don't really have any good top prospects other than like Ricky Tiedemann, and he's hit or miss right now. He's always hurt. So they would be 4. 3, the Mets. I could see them doing it, but the problem is, would they be willing to part with a guy like Jet Williams or Blade Tidwell, who we talked about a couple episodes ago? So that would be 3. 2 would be the Yankees. The Yankees have the prospects to do it. The question is Brian Cashman willing to give up prospects? So the Yankees are 2. And that leaves number 1. And I'm going to pivot. I'm going to say the Tigers are number 1.
Okay.
Nobody's talking about the Tigers. The Tigers could absolutely pull off a trade for Sandy Alcantara. They have, if you look at their farm system, they have Kevin McGonigal, Max Clark, Jace Young, who's in the big leagues right now, who just got recalled a couple weeks ago. And they have some other prospects that are lower down the line that I would think they'd be willing to part with if it came to the sense that, oh, we can get Sandy Alcantara. And you know what? I'll throw this at the dartboard and see if it sticks. The Red Sox, as a bonus team, the Red Sox, what have we heard all season? That they're not done making big time moves.
Correct.
So, and they have the prospects to do it. I could absolutely see the Red Sox trading for either Alcantara, Cease, or Michael King. One of those three. Or maybe somebody that nobody's talking about. Maybe Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
Well, like I said, yeah, like you said, but they have been saying that they're not done making moves, so that wouldn't be surprising.
And our next segment is overrated or underrated. And my co-host Bradley has a list of players, and we're going to tell you whether we think they're overrated or underrated. And of course, this is the only segment that is not 4 minutes. This is an untimed segment, which we do have a few untimed segments during the show. And we will explain why we think these guys are either underrated or overrated. Who is the first one on the overrated or underrated board on the Showstoppers podcast?
Former Randy Arozarena.
Oh, man. Oh, putting me in a tough spot here. I loved Randy as a Ray, and I'll let you go first since you're a Red Sox fan.
I'm impartial. I would have to say overrated right now. Excuse me. And the reason that I say that is he had great power numbers here with the Rays. It hasn't transferred all that well to Seattle yet. So at this time, I know I'm going to get roasted. At this time, I would say overrated, but that may change. So that's just my opinion on him.
I hate to be partial toward Randy, but I'm going to say overrated too, for the sole reason of he was a good hitter here in Tampa. He hasn't done a lot in Seattle, but then again, him and Julio are their only two really good players on offense, other than Cal Raleigh. So those three, that's not going to get you anywhere.
No.
Who is the next one on the chopping block?
Elly De La Cruz. Now, we've talked about this guy. He's not overrated, so I'm just going to throw that out there.
He is not. I think he's severely underrated because he's in a market like Cincinnati. Yeah. And not a lot of people turn on Reds games to watch Elly De La Cruz.
Well, he's fun to watch. I got to see him in person last year.
He is fun to watch. So where would you put him? Underrated then?
I would say underrated, but yeah, because if he was playing in a big market like Boston, New York, Philadelphia, LA, he would be blow up. And I hope with everything. I know, baseball doesn't have a salary cap. I hope he stays in Cincinnati for a long time and brings those fans to the ballpark just to see him. Hopefully he stays in Cincinnati.
I hope the same thing too.
I don't think that's going to
Who is the next one on the chopping block?
Phillies catcher JT Realmuto.
Overrated.
Overrated. I agree.
And I'm sorry, Phillies fans, you can roast us and toast us in the comment section of the episode, but he had one good season with the Phillies, and he has gone missing this year in terms of his hitting stats. So he is very much overrated. Who is next?
Center fielder for the Baltimore Orioles, Cedric Mullins.
Oh man. Oh. I don't know. I'll let you go first.
I'm gonna say overrated because that team hasn't gotten off to the greatest start this year. So I think his hitting hasn't got off, and that's why I think they're off to a slow start. But again, just like with Randy, I think it's overrated right now, but that could, of course, switch if the O's catch fire and they start winning baseball games.
I'm also going to say slightly overrated for now because he is one of the most entertaining center fielders in the game. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no question about that. Who is next on the chopping block?
Right fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays, George Springer.
I don't want to sit bad with Blue Jays fans, but I'm going to have to say overrated. And it's because he can't. The problem with Springer, I would say underrated. But what has he had issues with the last 3 years? Staying on the field and staying healthy. If he could just stay healthy, I would say underrated. Because his time in Houston, he was one of the best right fielders in baseball. Then he got to Toronto. His first couple years, he was healthy, and he was hitting really good. But the last 3 years, he's been hurt. And he hasn't played over 100 games. So I can almost guarantee you the Blue Jays are regretting giving Springer that contract.
I agree.
So you think he's overrated too?
I agree. Yes, absolutely. The next one, Bud, that I have is another former Astro, Minnesota Twins shortstop, Carlos Correa.
Twins fans are going to hate me for this. Overrated.
I agree.
Same thing I just said about Springer applies to Correa. The reason he's overrated is he can't stay on the field. And you know what? And we're probably going to say this guy's name later on, Royce Lewis. I hate to call him overrated even though he's young, but he has the same problem as Correa and Buxton. All three of them cannot stay on the field. If they could all three stay on the field, I would absolutely say underrated. But all three of them seem to, two of the three, well, no, one of the three's out hurt right now. He just started a rehab assignment. That's Royce Lewis. But right now, all three of them are underrated, but that could easily change as the Twins start to win.
Okay. The next one, Bud, I have is I hope I don't butcher this guy's first name. Jurickson Profar. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
Jurickson Profar.
Okay.
Overrated. And the sole purpose is PEDs.
Oh, okay. So he's a PED problem. Okay.
Yeah, he just got suspended for 80 games. At the middle of last month.
Oh, wow. Okay, so he's out for half the season now. Okay.
Yep, and he's not going to be eligible to be on the postseason roster either.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, he screwed
That's
himself.
a big loss for the Braves.
Yep.
What would you say? Overrated or underrated?
Stay over. I didn't know, Bud, that he had a suspension for PEDs. I
Yep,
know he was pretty
he got
underrated.
popped for PEDs. Which I'm gonna say something real quick. I feel like that goes untalked about when these guys get popped for PEDs and they get suspended. The only time we talk about guys getting suspended for PEDs and we actually talk about it is when it's the big name guys like a Trout, Ohtani, dare I say O'Neal Cruz, Bobby Witt. Those guys. We don't talk about the lesser name guys. Like Jerickson Profar just got, like I said, Jerickson Profar got popped for PEDs. And of course, nobody's talking about him because he's not a big name.
Right.
Who is the next victim of the overrated or underrated?
Yandy Diaz.
Underrated. He has started to hit. He had a home run today. If we would have done this a couple of weeks ago, I would have said overrated, even as an unbiased Rays fan on this podcast.
I agree. I think he's underrated too. I think he's one of those guys that the Rays need. If they're going to win games, they need him to be good on offense and good on defense if they're going to win games. So,
well, he's DHing a lot now.
Is he? Okay, they got him in the DH.
Because they want to give their younger two guys that made the roster, Aranda and Mead, more time at first base.
Okay.
Who is next?
Isaac Paredes.
Oh, overrated. Easy. We saw that, and correct me if I'm wrong. He's a good hitter, but his problem is he only hits home runs to left field. He has never hit an opposite field home run. And I don't think we even have to pull up the stats for it because we saw it last year with the Rays. All his home runs were to left field. So where do you put him?
No, I agree, but I think he's overrated. I think it was kind of that way when he played for the Rays. I think I was one of my games I covered last year before he was traded at the deadline. He did hit a walk-off home run. I mean, that was nice to see the walk-off and the crowd go crazy. It's always cool when you're there to watch your team hit a walk-off home run. But I agree. I think until he can hit the ball to opposite field and you know how to get him out, that he's overrated. And the last one I have, Bud, is PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong.
I'll let you go first because I have a reasoning as to what I picked, why I picked it.
I'm going to say underrated. I saw him before he went to Chicago. Forget, who did he play with last year?
He was with the Cubs, but he was originally a Mets pick.
Okay, then I must have saw them play. It must have been Chicago that I saw him. Okay. But yeah, I think he's underrated.
I think he's severely underrated. And he's another guy we don't talk about when it comes to center fielders. He's been a very good center fielder this year for the Cubs. And he's the reason they're doing really good. He can hit. He can steal bases. He plays top level defense. He's probably a top 5 center fielder in Major League Baseball right now. Up there with all time, I would put him up there I know I'm going to get looked at funny for this. If I had a Mount Rushmore for center fielders, and I know Pete Crow Armstrong is young, I'd put him up there with Kevin Kiermaier, who played for the Rays all those years, Desmond Jennings, who was a really good center fielder for the Rays, who's now coaching in the minors, I believe, for the Rays. Mike Trout when he was in center field for the Angels.
Oh, definitely. He's got to be definitely one of the best center fielders in the business.
And a guy that's not in baseball anymore, but when he was, Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, the say hey kid. Say hey kid.
And now our last rapid fire segment is my co-host is going to name a player and we get one word to describe them.
Okay. Christian Walker.
Errors. And the reason I say that is he's a decently good first baseman, but he does make a lot of errors. What is your one word to describe Christian Walker?
Same way, but same way. I think he's a fielding nightmare. Well, that's one word. That's two words, but fielding nightmare.
One word, two words. It's fine. This is a new segment that we're trying. If it sticks, it sticks. But who is the next player?
Alex Bregman.
Breggy. Machine.
I'm gonna say clutch. Say clutch.
I could have said Homer. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. Homer Machine. He's starting to hit. He's starting to rake a little bit for the Red Sox. And can we give credit where it's due? Who did I talk about Tuesday that was struggling? And then I watched their game Tuesday night, not to get off the segment, but just to not to try to give myself a pat on the back, but I think we talked about Shea Langoliers and how he was struggling. What does he go out and do right after we get off the podcast? He hit a home run.
That's cool when you can talk about a player and then he goes out and does that. Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe this is the start of his turnaround. Because he was slumping to begin the year. And, I mean, Chandler Simpson had a hit today for the Rays. So, your pick to click's doing good. Mine is doing okay. I picked Kerry Carpenter. This is why you don't want to miss the podcast, folks, because we have the tendency to, I don't want to say call things, but we have the tendency to kind of predict the future. But back to the current segment we were talking about, I just wanted to bring that up. Who is the next guy on the one word?
The polar bear, Pete Alonso.
Oh, easy. Clutch.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree with you on that one, but absolutely. Yep. Wholeheartedly. Luis Arraez, if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly.
Luis Arraez.
Yeah.
I hate to do this to Padres fans. Overrated.
Yeah, nope. I agree.
And you know what? I'm going to explain why. He's overrated because all he does is he very rarely hits homers, and when he gets on base, it's a slap hit to left field, and it's normally a single, and he gives you zero speed. He doesn't steal bases. He's an on-base and average guy. Now, if he could steal maybe 5 to 10 bases, then I'd say I wouldn't say he's overrated if he could do that, but I don't see that.
No, I agree, bud. I agree. The last one that I had was, and bear with me if I pronounce this player's last name incorrectly, Spencer Schwellenbach. Is that how you pronounce the last name?
You perfectly executed that last name.
Schwellenbach. Yep.
I'll let you go first with the one-word answer.
I would say underrated. I'd say underrated.
I'm gonna say breakout. He has been the most consistent pitcher on the Braves this year. With the injury, with Spencer Strider coming back for one start, getting hurt again. He has been the most consistent pitcher on that Braves pitching staff. And there's absolutely zero questions. And I hope the Braves give him a contract extension. He deserves it. Now, before we get to the next segment, we have an announcement to make about the podcast on May 13th. And I will, Bradley, break the news to everybody.
Yes, me and my great co-host we will be doing play-by-play baseball for the University of North Florida versus University of South Florida college baseball game at Red McEwen Stadium on the 13th. We're going to be doing live. We're going to be at the game together. Probably what we'll do is when North Florida is up, I'll let Alec kind of, go through and give you play-by-play, and I'll do it when the USF is up. We'll do something like that. But we're really excited, guys. We wanted to try it out. I had told Alec a couple weeks ago that I was going to go to the game. And I'm very, very fortunate because Alec is the only co-host that I have on here and on my other show that actually lives in the same state as me. So I'm able to go to baseball games with him. But yeah, that's the announcement, guys. In a couple weeks, a couple Tuesdays, we will be at Red McEwen Stadium for the North Florida, South Florida baseball game live.
And if you're a student at USF or you go to where I went, UNF, and you go to the baseball game, we will be up and I don't know if they'll let people in, but we will be up in the party deck doing the play-by-play. And if they do let people come up there, more than welcome to come by and say hi, drop in. We might even let you... We might even have the chance to interview you.
Yeah.
As part of the live stream. Don't be afraid to come up and say hi. If you know me, if you go to UNF and you know me personally and you're there, just walk up and we would be glad to let you be on the live stream. But now back to again, sorry for the interruption. Back to the show. Now we will go over our 6 weekend series that each of us picked, and we have 4 minutes. Bradley, start the timer, and you have the distinct honor of going first.
Okay, I will start with the Nats at the Reds, Backs at the Phillies, Rockies at the Giants, Dodgers at the Braves, Cubs at the Brewers, and the Padres in Pittsburgh to play the Pirates. Those are my 6.
I have... Is the timer still going?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My 6 are the Rays at the Yankees, the Reds versus the Nationals, the Red Sox versus the Twins, the Braves versus the Dodgers, the Tigers versus the Angels, and the Pirates versus the Padres. And again, like I said earlier, we tried to predict the future. What are we going to start Tuesday's show off with? As we still do have time after this segment for this or that MLB edition. But what are we going to start Tuesday's show off with, Bradley?
Well, we're going to see, obviously, we'll go over the 6 series that we just said. Obviously, we could talk about those. One of the topics that Alec said pre-show, will Bud Black still be the manager in Colorado? I think if he gets fired, I think along with him, Darryl Scott, the GM, will be gone too. I think you can't just fire one and not fire both. So we'll see if that happens over the weekend. So
it's gotta... I'm going to say it's got to happen soon. They can't keep going on and losing games. They're 4-20.
Yeah.
And I just saw some. They have the... Guess who they play the week of July 4th? In Chicago.
Oh, the Cubs. Oh, the White Sox. They have the White Sox. Oh, my Lord. Wow. Okay.
And I was reading, and I could not stop laughing. I saw it, and I was reading on TikTok, and I was reading comments, and people were like, "Oh, they should nationally televise all 3 games of that series." And I'm
Yeah.
just like, really? You really want to torture the MLB fans with a 3-game series between two teams? And I'm sorry to say this for Rockies and White Sox fans that are god awful right now.
Okay, this is how god awful they are. The two teams combined have 13 wins. The Rockies have 5, the White Sox have 8. The leading team in the major leagues right now is the Mets. They have 20, and the Mets and the Dodgers both have 21 wins. So that is more wins by two teams than the two combined. Just to throw that out there. Most of the league has more than 13 wins right now. Just to throw that out there. So yes, go ahead, MLB. Put those games on TV. No one's gonna watch except for the fans of both the.
Yeah, put those games on like Fox or MLB Network, all 3 of them. Ain't nobody gonna watch.
No.
Like we just said, it's between 2 awful teams. Don't get me wrong, the Rockies have some promising young players. And one of them's Zach Veen, and we could get into briefly talking about him here in a second. But to wrap this point up, if they get swept over the weekend by the
Giants?
who are they? By the Giants, I think that's got to be the last straw for Daryl Scott and Bud Black. Bud Black just needs to retire. And I'm sorry, I love Bud Black as a manager, but he's old, and you need a new face in there. I mean, look at the Marlins. Skip Schumacher was their manager last year, and he's not young. They didn't go anywhere. And I mean, they got Clayton McCullough, and I didn't know this. He was on the Dodgers staff, coaching staff, before he became the manager of the Marlins. And what's the term we use in sports for coaching trees? He came off the Dave Roberts
coaching
tree of disciples, to use a wrestling term on a baseball podcast.
Yes.
He was a disciple of the Dave Roberts coaching tree. And I mean, the Marlins they're not, I like that they're starting to call up their young players. Agustin Ramirez has been mashing. Could you look up his stats real quick to tell the audience how Agustin Ramirez has been hitting?
Sure. Let me see this real quick. Let me see. Agustin Ramirez. Is that who you were talking about, bud?
Yes. Or as the Marlins announcers call him, Gus.
So far this year, he's at 31 at-bats. He has 9 hits, 3 home runs. He's currently hitting .290, which, again, for somebody
nothing to sneeze at,
is freshly up from the minor leagues. He spent 6 seasons in the minors, and he left the minors with a .266 batting average, which, again, that's nothing to sneeze at either. Any Major League Baseball player would love to hit .266 for a career.
Especially a catcher.
Yep. So, again, he's currently hitting .290 with the Marlins as we speak. So, yeah.
Which, again, like we just said, nothing to sneeze at. And he's going to get every day at bats.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue is, I guess their starting catcher, Nick Fortes, is out right now. And the announcers have been saying they're going to have an issue when Nick Fortes comes back, because not only is Agustin Ramirez hitting well, so is Liam Hicks. And I've never known a major league team to carry 3 catchers.
No, that's hard. That's like
other than you could say the Yankees are the exception because Ben Rice is a first baseman, but by trade, he's a catcher. So technically, you could say the Yankees are carrying 3 catchers, even though Ben Rice plays first base. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up tonight. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and share the podcast. And we will be back Tuesday with a recap of everything that happened over the weekend and unnamed segments that you will hear about on Tuesday. Make sure to tune in to the Walker Report at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're going to be reviewing WrestleMania.
Yes. But, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. Thank you again for watching the podcast tonight. And please like and share and leave a comment on this video, on the podcast episode, with your opinions and thoughts on our top 10 walk-up songs, our overrated, underrated, one word that describes players, and all the other segments we had, and tell us which segments should stay and which segments we should scrap. And if you enjoyed this podcast, there is episode 5 that will be that there will be a card up in the corner to watch episode 5. We will see everybody Tuesday night.
Have a good night, everybody.